Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad, this is Supercoach Pro. Today we're doing a round 17 preview. I'm sure a lot of you have probably checked out after the buys, and there's bugger all trades considering some carnage. The only real carnage at the moment actually is Brett Daniels is a pretty highly owned player in the forward line, I guess. But I was looking at my trades. I'm just waiting for Ghost to appear on screen at some point. He's just finishing up his gym session. But essentially 5 trades left, and I was actually counting the rounds. We've actually got 8 rounds left to go, so it makes it extremely tricky to sort of wonder if you go down to 3 trades, you're only going to have 3 trades for 2 months of football, which seems bugger all. So I'm actually in a boat of almost holding at this point and hoping that there is more carnage for me to actually trade out of. So initially I was just going to trade out a flex player, but I'm not sure if it's even worth it now. So I might just play the long game because I know I've seen people like Supercoach George last year. I keep going back to this time last year. He was not in the best ranking position, and I was in a lot better, I think. And then all of a sudden he held his trades. I had no trades, and he managed to come back and have a really good finish. And I think that's what's important in Supercoach is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I'll get into the team and not buying myself too much time for Ghost to show up. It's more or less my ranking for this week was I've only had 2 good weeks out of the buys, and I think that's where I've come unstuck this year is I think I planned better, but I also wasn't expecting round 14 to have 7 players out. I think I was only expecting 5. It's now best 22, so I think if you get like a 2-5 or 2-6 prediction, it's probably pretty nice, but again, these are pretty irrelevant anyway, regardless, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about the side. I feel like there's a lot of depth, but I don't have the best available. Like I've just gone a lot of mediocre, cheap picks. I mean, probably expected when you got 5 trades left that you do have a lot of cheap players and sort of full primo to a certain extent. I guess no one's really got full primo, do they? So in this case, though, I'm running a pretty depthy side. I mean, Newman's flex, so I just don't feel the need to grab a flex position player at this point. The more I look at the side, it's pretty good. Like you got Holmes, Whitfield, Parker, Wilkie, Dacos, Stewart. Midfield's okay without being fantastic. You've got Butters, Dacos, Oliver, Callahan, Will Day is probably my VC pod for the year. And then I got LDU, Walsh, Sarong. Sarong's my worst. Midfielder at 97 average, so I was expecting a 105. Jackson is really going to leak points against players like Grundy as well. So I feel like I'm losing huge there, and a lot of people have gone here and flex. I probably make up for it for having a slightly better forward line than some teams. Like some teams are just running a rookie at F6 or even Murdoch at F6, whereas I've actually got Took, who's averaging 70 anyway, similar to Murdoch, to be honest. But pretty happy with the side all in all. I feel like it's getting there. I just banking on the last 8 weeks to make some moves and hopefully some players that I don't own get injured. And I'm not wishing upon like crazy injury, but sometimes you need carnage to get up in the ranks. So VC and C this week as well will be interesting. I'll probably touch on that with Ghost when he makes his appearance. But yeah, this one's more or less we've got to see the Thursday teams to see who we can loop. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to double emergency. If you have a double emergency, you'll take the lowest emergency score anyway. So I'll probably just have the emergency on each player. So emergency on Hall there, Fitzgerald and Murdoch, and Newman will be my guy. He actually play all right against Richmond, I reckon, actually. So my VC, probably I can use that Burton game with Richmond. I don't think I really have much other choice. Maybe Banfield. I don't think he'll play either, actually. In that case, I could probably even loophole this week. If I keep Murdoch, which I will, I can loophole Murdoch. And if Murdoch scores a decent score against Adelaide, I might take that over Took Mirror against Collingwood. So if Murdoch gets a 90, I might just sub Took Mirror off for Banfield. I forgot the loophole works like that. And then I guess Fitzgerald can be a bit of a punt. It can't really be for Sarong anyway because they play 20 minutes apart. So that's kind of a stitch up. So, yeah, I'll probably use the loop to that advantage, I guess. Knowing my Murdoch will score 90, I'll keep the 90 and then Miller will go 120. But, yeah, five trades. 5 trades left in the bank for 2 months of football. Actually feels okay. I think if I went down to 3, I'd be a bit nervous. That's for sure. Thank you for that, mate. I did score pretty nicely this week, just gone. So Richard's here said, nice round, bro. So it's nice to get a good one, but I feel like I've had so many bad ones. It just doesn't feel justifiable. 28,000 feels like essentially that I've finished 10th place on the ladder. If it was AFL right now, it just doesn't feel like a great score. I don't think I've ever finished this badly, so I don't think this will be my final score in terms of season ranking. But, yeah, I'm not playing the World Cup. 26, couldn't care less about that. I think for VC and Cs, I might have a look at that as well out of my side and then see what Ghost wants to touch on with the VC and C side of things. And I think he's had a bit of a carnage as well, so I won't reveal too much about that. But, yeah, basically, I'm not looking at any Geelong players now that Stewart's back for the VC. I'm not looking at Holmes. If Stewart wasn't here for the game, I'd probably look at him as a VC, Max Holmes, but now I'm not interested in that game as a VC night. Maybe Bailey Smith, he's been named back. He could be a sneaky VC because Brisbane don't tag, but other than that, nothing in that game for my team. I have no Sydney players, so that's not relevant for me, nor do I have Dogs players, which is really weird, actually, to have neither of those boys in my side. So it's kind of a boring night. Nor do I have Adelaide players, so I can't do anything there. That's irrelevant. So I think what I might do, I could even VC Will Day. Not sure if it's worth it just because of his time on ground at the moment. But I also really like 20 minutes later, Jackson versus Briggs as a VC option. He went nuts last year against Giants. The Giants are pretty poor this year, so I feel like this is a game he could really go nuts in. He scored 143 last time. And that was only in round 10, so it's not like it was the start of the year. This was only, 7 weeks ago he did this number. So I really like his chances. And this time, is it at Optus Stadium? I feel like, okay, it's not. That's annoying. How does he score away? I'm going to have to drag this here. So away at Marvel, he went 143. At GMHBA, he went 142. Yeah, so away he still scores really well as well. In fact, he actually scores higher away than what he does at Optus Stadium. That's interesting. And saying that, he's dropped to 176 at Optus Stadium and then 147, so never mind. But, yeah, I think I'll just go Jackson as a VC, probably into Sheasel. Just he's in form. He's averaging 121. I think if he's a midfielder only, I'm going to start him next year. I just can't not. He's too good. Yeah, better than Dacos for those watching. I reckon if I had to pick Sheasel or Dacos in Richmond, I'd pick Sheasel right now. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but it could be. And then the rest of the side looks all right. My issue was going forward, if I did trade Murdoch for one trade, I can't get anything out of it. I don't think anyway. I could do something a little bit risky, but it kind of wouldn't make any sense, especially to you guys. You'd think I'm absolutely nuts. Now, I don't know why this setting has come up here, but I could take an absolute risk, and I don't know if it would make much sense, but I could go Jeremy Cameron, even though he scored really poor. I could do that in one trade. Like, Jeremy Cameron's got a break even of 107. I'd have to decide by tonight. Before the game tomorrow. He did score a 104 7 weeks ago. Is it worth going Jezza? Because how much money would Murdoch lose? I could even loophole that score as well and use Jezza as a spare. If you told me I could do at the start of the year Murdoch to Jezza in one trade, I'd think you're insane. But if Murdoch gets to 60, what does he go down to? It almost becomes unaffordable. I've just got enough money now because if he doesn't hit his break even of 95, which he won't, I wouldn't be able to get Jeremy Cameron. Basically, and Jeremy Cameron would have to go an absolute sub 60 for me to actually still get him the week after. So I could go Murdoch to Cameron. I might have to ask Ghost what he thinks if this is too crazy, but to loophole Jezza would be actually okay. Like, I don't hate it. And I've got to do something, right? So it could come to haunt me similar to what Shannon Neal did last year, I guess. But he's had the bye. Have a look at his scores. For 333, the bloke's averaged 90s in his Supercoach career. And before those poor games, was averaging 90-something. So it's not the craziest shout. Like, before that 14 game, he was averaging 90. So, and then you look at his come home fixture, actually, is pretty decent. He dropped the 104 against Brizzy last time. Just whether I trust that arm or not, I guess. But that last month of football, Collingwood, Essendon, North Melbourne, and Richmond, like, is that the go-to there? Like, is that actually nuts to loophole a guy like that? Like, if I did that, so I don't know why I'm talking myself into this, but it's a loophole option too. It's not even like it's not like I have to play him. So hypothetically, to give you guys an example, if Jeremy Cameron went and turned up this week, all I'll do to take his score is put Banfield on. Took Miller would come off, and then I'd gain 30 or 40 points if Jezza went massive on that game. You know, he, like someone in the comments right in there, he can drop a 30, but his ceiling is high enough to do whatever. Like, sure, Jeremy Cameron can do that, but Murdoch hasn't scored a 90 in over a month. I'd rather Jeremy Cameron in the back half because maybe he could get me over the line of some of these Supercoach finals as well. How many GMHBA does he have? He plays Brisbane and St Kilda at GMHBA, Richmond and Essendon there. So, yeah, I don't know. And then average against opponent. He actually plays well against the Giants. Does he? No, he doesn't. I'm reading that wrong completely. He doesn't play well against the Giants. That's a concern. But Richmond and North Melbourne for the grand final matchup for Richmond is pretty good. Unless they decide to rest him, that would be a Brad Scott thing to do. Sorry, Chris Scott thing to do. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's such a good F7 weapon this time of year. I know, bit of a punt, a bit of a pod. I need to do something. Like, I'm 28,000K rank. Like, what am I there to lose right now? Seriously, like, I mean, besides his arm, he actually looked pretty good. So I don't know why people, and maybe I'm nuts. Maybe I have a look at his last two games and look at his arm, but he's had a week off. Surely he's okay. You talk about this arm that he did last year, but before that, he went 107. Yep, dropped a bad game in two in a row here, 45 and 51. Then he went 87, 160, 72, 96, 76, 104, 111, 82. So let's separate the scores. My phone's going nuts at the moment. So he's only dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 below 60. And you're just using him as an F7. I think if I was to talk about him in F6, I could understand where the comments are coming from. But he's an F7 loop, for God's sake. I don't know. I don't know why everyone's freaking out about that. Like, I think as an F7 loophole player, it's not the worst idea, to be honest. Took Miller. Have a look at Took Miller. He's been shit. Like, look at, like, do I really care at this point? Like, Took Miller last 3 games, 67, 75, and 76. Has a 3-round average, what would it be, of 72. Like, surely it's just not the worst idea to do so. I'd go down to 4 trades and it'd be okay. I've got a lot of depth as well. Like, Newman's my spare if my defense goes down. I got a bloke averaging 87. I'll just chuck Fitzgerald, I guess, in the flex position. Or if Cameron goes on fire, I could always put Cameron in flex and Newman down back for a spare. So I don't know. I got to do something different. I don't want to finish this season ranked 20k. I think that'd be a complete fail for myself, to be honest. You'll be necking your find keys. You'll neck yourself. Oh, hang on. Ghost is in the chat. Hang on, Ghost. Ghost, how long have you been sitting there for, mate?
Oh, only like a minute, man. No, nothing too long. So, how are you?
Yeah, good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Just smashed out a gym session, getting back into it. So,
yeah. What do you train tonight?
I did a bit of everything, sort of. A bit of just upper body mainly, though. So, just trying to stay as sharp as you look, mate. I've got a fair way to go.
Ha, mate. I feel like I'm catfishing right now, to be honest. But did you hear my little Jezza pump up? Are you a believer of the Jezza thing, or do you reckon his arm's cooked?
I think his arm is cooked, but I still think he can have some spike scores. And if he's like your 23rd player, like if he scores shit, it's going to drop out anyway. So,
yeah, I was just saying to the guys in chat, basically he'd be an F7 loop. Like I could loop him this week instead of looping Murdoch, really.
Yeah, I'm stuck with Murdoch. I was just looking at your forward line, and we have the exact same forward line, except you've got Pickett and I've got Murdoch.
Yeah, and that's why I sort of wouldn't mind using a Stewart. Like, Took Miller's got a 3-round average of 72. Like, that's just dog shit.
Yeah, really bad.
So who are you replacing this week to the viewers as well? Because you've had some carnage in your forward line, haven't you?
I've had injuries the last 6 weeks, I counted. So, started with Caleb Sarong back when he did his calf. Then I had McCluggage, then Roberts, then Sinclair, and then I brought in Brent Daniels. And I'm never picking that bloke again. He's just him, Hayden Young, these guys never coming in my team ever again. They are made of glass. So, unfortunately, I did have 5 or 6 injury trades that I was planning on using, but I've had to use them the last 5 weeks. So, but Murdoch will just have to stay at F6. It was going to be Daniels and Durham were going to be F5 and F6, but now it's Murdoch and Durham. So at least I got Durham in, which I wouldn't have done if Daniels didn't get injured. So I got a good score at least. And yeah, this week, so with some DPP, I'll bring in Naz and Herbert as my last 2, and I'll have cover on every line. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think your main point there as well is like you're covering every line. Like, I just realized we've got 8 weeks left of football, not 7 as well. So I was like, I don't really want to go down to 3 trades. But 4 and Jeremy Cameron could be something, but don't really know. Super Blue says Cameron is Brisbane and one of Leicester or Garden are both done well on him. But he scored 100 against them, 7 weeks ago is more than my point. You know what I mean? Like, and it's at home as well at GMHBA, so it could be a good game for him. Jezza cooked against the Sun. His arms is toast. Better go on Shannon Neal. No one's forgotten about Shannon Neal. It's my biggest burn. Everyone remembers, and I guess it's because it's such a diabolical pick. I don't know. Shannon Neal will be the guy I pick when Cameron retires.
He made you cash though, because his break even was like negative 15 or something when you picked him up. So at least you got something out of him.
Yeah, I was at the shop, so I remember that, Dave, so clearly. And I just had this stupid inkling of 5 minutes before the bounce. I'm like, you know what? Shannon Neal season. Didn't even talk about him prior to that and just thought, why not?
No, we discussed heaps of things, and then you're like, guess who I brought in?
Yeah.
You're like, you'll never guess. And then when you said Shannon, you said Neil, and I'm like, Lockie. And you're like, nah, Shannon.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you there. You thought, oh, yeah, Lockie Neal, how did you do that? Like, and then, yeah. Fine cases, fair play if you're aiming for a spike score and his Supercoach final matchups are good. Other option for the same price for Richelli. I had Richelli in my starting side, and I've never liked his scoring. He doesn't have the same ability as Jezza right now anyway.
Nah. he did well for a stretch, and then they kicked him out of the midfield, and even without ranking, he still couldn't get back in. So every time I've seen him, he's been like he scored the last few weeks like 40s and 50s and shit. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Richard says maybe Marshall. I'm going Wilkie. Can't get Naz and almost best 22 with 3 trades after 2 trades. Not sure what to do. 60 rank adds pressure, bro. Thanks so much for your content.
Fuck.
What are your thoughts on Marshall now that he's solo for about a month with DeConning being out? I think it's a great pickup if you can do it in one trade.
If you can do it in one trade, yeah, I don't mind that at all. But yeah, I think if you're ranked in the 60, a lot of people are going to bring Naz in, so that's a big anti-pod to have for the rest of the year.
I think if I'm him, I'm probably gutting it and going Naz as well.
Yeah, I would. I'm bringing Naz in this week just because that's at least what I can do with Daniel's cash. So I got enough in the bank for it. So I might as well. Gives me like 8K left or something. So I might as well just bring him in.
I think when you get that ranking too, because I was in that position that I almost in last year, and I was ranked in the 30s. Like you just kind of get this urge to be aggressive because you just want to see how far you can take it. And I didn't want to regret anything if I held on my hands. Now I know I probably played a little bit too aggressive, but like, yeah, 2 trades feels like this could almost finish out outside of 1K. If a couple trades, a couple injured players in the next 2 weeks happens, you're kind of cooked after that. That's the issue.
And another thing with Naz that like we didn't start him this year because we, it was midfield time and we thought he was getting tags and all that kind of stuff. Ross is going to move him around. So I've seen some things on like X about like, oh, he's got a potential Mullen and a Jordan tag and all this. He played Sydney a couple of weeks ago and he got 100. He's got Essendon, he's got Richmond, he's got Port. I think like he's going to go. They're probably sealing games. I don't see Mullen tagging him if he's playing in a half-back role, and like Ross will move him around. So I really think that he'll be fine. I don't see him getting too many low scores for the rest of the year. I reckon he'll be a solid pick for the rest of the year and be probably from this point on. I think he'll be D1, but probably overall he won't be able to catch Holmes.
Yeah, look, I think the other factor for the Naz is really because of Sinclair being out. That's where his points are going to really spike as well. And he's going to be a genuine VC and C. I'm not like too worried about him in my side just because I've got a better F6 like than a lot of teams. Like you're saying, you got Murdoch at F6.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that my overall team will outweigh those guys that have got to knock me out the park. But I'll be honest, I'm going to rely on a lot of carnage for my team to go from 28 to 5,000 in the last 2 months of football.
At the end of the potty, we should just go through your team and we'll compare our differences just to see how many we've got different. Just to
100%.
The forward line's interesting because you've got me there because I've got the same as you, but I've got Murdoch and you've got Pickett. So
literally 100%. And then you just thank me for the content, but that's also the you as well, mate, because I get a lot of comments every week actually about how much depth you go into with the questions. And not that I can't be fucked, but I've probably been watching a lot less games than what you have. So you've got more knowledge because you've probably put a lot more time and effort. Not that I lack effort in this game, but
yeah, I
do. And like everyone, we all get busy. So there is things where I'm like, I'm not sure. And I know you've watched the games I haven't. So it works out really well for me as well.
And like I said, I appreciate that, man. And like, I'm just giving my opinions. By no means do I think I'm an expert or fucking know better than anybody else. And my ranking this year's beyond shit. Like I think there's logic behind what I've done. I've just had some bad luck, which happens. But like this year's been carnage for a lot of people. So
yeah,
it's even like I said, I always talk about the sword play boys, and like Janeth has been a legend up there for so much, and this is probably the worst year he's ever had as well. And he knows a billion times more than I do. So it can happen to anyone. So it's not just about the rankings and shit like that. It's good, getting some opinions here and there, and everyone's different, and yeah, you get to see what happens. So just happy to float mine out there, and yours as well. I love hearing yours because I like that we sort of contrast a bit, but everything makes sense. So it's good.
Yeah. I think for me this year, actually, my biggest regret is going to be a bit of a wild one. Is I probably haven't watched enough content of everywhere else to actually get some more third or fourth opinions or fifth opinions. Like I've only really watched yourself, and that's almost it now. Like, and I think that's maybe that's a me problem as well, because maybe I could do a bit of advice since the other guys that are very analytical as well. Like, but yeah, I think next year I'll start watching a few more, and I think the reason why I didn't this year was because last year I watched so much that I had almost too much information. I almost panicked in some aspects. This year I just wanted to have a bit of a free flow, but we couldn't really predict all the injuries we've had and all the carnage. But it would have been nice to listen to what some other creators had have gone to as a sideways pick. Like how many of them went McCluggage, or maybe I should have listened to DR about McCluggage, or certain people about certain players that I should have probably listened to and gone, should I go there, or have they gone there as well? Like insider boys are really smart for their picks, generally speaking, as well. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of great content creators out there, and I have seen, especially over the bye weeks, and like I had a big jump over the bye weeks as well. Not as much as you did last week. I saw your score, so congrats on that, man. That was really good. I jumped to like 6K this week as well, just from a meet, and that was with the Daniels injury and shit like that. So but I've seen a lot of the content creators start jumping up a bit, and even your mate George from Supercoach Masters, he's up there again. He's doing really, really well. So yeah,
I can't believe he's doing well as well. Hopefully he's back next year. Not sure if what's his movements are. Like I'm wearing Supercoach Masters beanie tonight, so shout out to George if you can see that, or if he's watching me. Yeah, he always asks me weekly what my trades are and how my shit team's going. So
I miss the banter from you boys. It was good.
Yeah, I miss it too. I'm really hoping he comes back at some point. I'll at least do it an end of the year episode. But had this question on my screen, or statement on the screen for a while about Jezza did nothing in the grand final. That's true, but he's done all right this year. Josh, best VC in C this week. Thinking going into Naz. What are you thinking of the best VCs into Cs? Like I'm thinking Jackson into Sheasel. What would you go?
I was looking at the Nick Dacos one against Gold Coast, just because Gold Coast is so shit right now. Really, like you were saying before about Took Miller, how bad he's been. And it's a reflection, other than obviously Anderson, they've all been pretty bad. So I'm liking Nick at the moment. He's in really good form. And then obviously I'll have Naz as a fallback captain against Essendon. I think he'll absolutely get as many touches as he wants. He can kick goals because we can't stop anybody. So like, look at what Sheasel did. Look at what LDU did. You had Luke Parker. Like it was just a massacre against Essendon. So I think Naz will do that. I wouldn't go Gawn. I've got Gawn and I've gone him captain for most of the year, but just he'll score all right. I still think he'll get the hundy, but the double ruck against Hawthorn, I just don't like that as a ceiling sort of type of score. I don't think that'll be as likely.
Yeah, I agree. I think the double ruck's not the ideal situation to VC a guy like Gawn in, particularly if they bring back Heath maybe for that matchup potentially.
Yeah, they could. Yeah.
These trade outs, I probably won't go in depth like with any of them unless there's any I would want to keep. And I don't see a single player on this freaking list apart from Sam Cumming that I'd actually be reluctant to keep. Maybe Dirksen, obviously, like he hasn't made enough money quite. Other than that, do you have any other thought that maybe Wade and Cumming are the only ones you'd hold here?
Yeah, I didn't have Dirksen, and because of the Daniels injury, I actually had to get rid of Cumming last week. But I went him to Durham, so it worked out fine anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the only bad thing about obviously having Cumming in the midfield now for the Tigers is that I saw a DPP update and he's at 34% forward time. So the more mid he plays, which he probably will, he's probably not going to get that DPP that a lot of people were hoping for. So, but yeah, like he's fine to keep his break evens low. So you could keep him another week if you want, let him score and make a bit more cash. But yeah, his last couple of weeks he's been really solid since we traded him in and he was dropping 30s and 40s and now he's back up. So he's definitely a midfielder, not a forward.
Yeah, I mean, see, the issue for Cumming was he was only playing like 30% midfield time. Then he was playing 35%, 15%, and then Hopper went out the last 2 weeks, so he's had 75% midfield time against the Roos, and then 70% against Collingwood.
Yeah.
So that's why he's actually gone up the last couple of weeks. Is that 75% range has allowed him to get that 80 and 90 score. And when he goes back to 35%, that's when Hopper comes back into the side. But if Hopper's out for another week or two, I think it's critical that you just keep coming because he's going to go up to probably 400,000 by the end of that Melbourne game or Hawthorn game potentially if he puts on another big couple scores anyway. So I'd hold him, but if Hopper comes back in the next week or two, that's when I'd almost look at offloading him at some point when his break even's pretty high.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I was going to keep him just because I knew he was low break even, but I was forced to get rid of him. But I also thought you brought up Jack Ross came back into the team and you brought in Houghton as well. So I was like, oh, maybe he gets thrown back to half forward and shit. But he did really well and had, what do you have, like 27 disposals or something in the midfield. So yeah, he obviously shows that he should be in the midfield. So, but I agree, if Hopper comes back in, then yeah, he might be in trouble just and lose a bit more time in there. But I'd hold him if you've got him. I think he's fine.
Yeah, and Houghton only had what did he have? 37% midfield time last week, and the week before that he had no midfield time whatsoever. So I'm not sure if they'll continue to run Houghton in there anyway. Like, I'm not really sure that's the move because he's quite injury prone. So I think he'll be the first to lose that spot anyway in that original lineup.
Yeah, I'm a little worried now with Timmy Taranto getting thrown forward a little bit. Like, he kicked 4 goals, but still didn't get the 100. He finished on 98. But I just hope that Uze doesn't play him forward more because, yeah, look, no offense, but it doesn't go to the Tigers forward line a lot, so I don't want him to be stuck down there.
Yeah. I don't know if they will. Like, maybe that back in the year they might. Like, he is probably a really good finisher. Like, he doesn't really, I don't know. He's a weird one. He's good at snapping. He's actually a good set shot, but he can't kick a ball to a midfielder, but he can somehow kick a goal through the sticks. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we started his career as a bit of a forward, and I remember I had him in the Giants one year, and he played a game, and he replaced Toby Green up forward after he was killing it in the midfield, and he ended up kicking like 5 goals or something that game as well. So, but yeah, he did well against the Pies. It was just unlucky he didn't get the ton.
100%. I'm pretty sure Al Patton said Taj Houghton 2 weeks ago would have been a good trade-in pick for clickbait, so shout out that knobhead. I can't stand people that just say dumb shit for clicks. Like, does me fucking head in, honestly. Anyway, before I get in more trouble than I already get, 46 and work 7 on and 7 off in my spare time is Supercoach. I don't blame you. I keep missing Jack's comments, but Jack's comments isn't coming through. He goes, missed my comment before, mate. Nothing whatsoever came through, Jack, so
send it again.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's the second time or third time it's happened to him lately. And I only get the missed you comment. Like, I never skip anyone's comment on purpose. I don't know what the fuck's happening there. But, yeah, so that was all the players for the trade outs. I'll go back quickly to the trade ins. I'm sort of glad you actually mentioned Will Day instead of Taranto when I asked you the other week, do I go Taranto, Rao, or Day? And you said, well, I've got the other Hawthorn boy, so why not just go Day?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he played really well, man. And I think he makes a massive difference to Hawthorn and the way they play out of the midfield. You know, Newcomb started pretty slow for me, but his second quarter, I think he had like 13 touches and he broke it open. But they waxed on, waxed off so much in that midfield. So, as long as Day stays injury free, I think he'll be sweet and do really well. Like, Real obviously had a really good week, but to me, he just doesn't seem the same as he did last year. He's had a lot of injuries and stuff, and so Will Day looked the goods, mate. Hopefully, he keeps doing what he started doing for you this week and keeps it backing it up.
I hope so too, because he's a pod. So it makes me nervous watching him though. Jack says, all good, mate. I said, I like your forwards. They're better than mine.
Agreed.
Did I tell you my gym story that happened the other week about what was it? It was about a calf machine. Did I tell you this story?
Nah, I didn't hear this.
Do you ever have those idiots that want to play like hero at the gym and think they're very tough and they just piss you off? Have you ever had those scenarios? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you one of the best ones I've had, right? So normally I put away my weights. Like I'm normally that guy, right? I normally fucking do, right? I want a calf machine. I put on a 20 plate on one side, a 20 plate on one side, right? It wasn't that heavy. I was just doing the white calves. I was just trying to burn my calves out. No one at the fucking gym. I did 20 reps, maybe more than that. I did 3 sets, right? I jump off the fucking machine. I leave the weights on there, right? No etiquette whatsoever. The first time in 15 years that I can remember, I haven't put my weights away, right? I go to the bench and I can't remember what I was doing. I just grabbed the flat bench. This hero, I shit you not, took off his headphones because he was on the seated calf raises. And he goes, you done with that, mate? I said, yep. Gave him the fucking thumbs up. Yep.
Yeah.
He goes, I ain't got to put the weights away. I just looked at him and said, just gave him the thumbs up. He goes, throws down his headphones. I was like, is this guy fucking serious? Takes off the weights, puts them back on, slams them. Then he's wearing a fucking gym belt anyway. He's not even doing any back work or anything. So he finishes off his lateral raises and front raises and shit. Then sort of, I don't know what he said. I didn't know what he murmured anyway. But then he's moved to the next bench, threw his fucking belt, like his weighted belt, and his phone and his keys onto the bench. I'm like, if you're fucking going on about me for etiquette at the gym and you're losing your mind over 20-kilo plates sitting on
one plate,
and then you're going nuts and throwing your shit on a seat, how is that any better than what I fucking did? So I hope you're watching, old mate, because do better. You might be 6'4", but I can punch you in the fucking head. Anyway, that completely pissed me off. And I seen that guy the other day at the gym, and I was like, is this guy an NPC? It's 10 a.m. in the morning. I've just taken an annual leave day off, and he was training last night at 8 p.m., and now he's here at 10 a.m. Like, I swear those people at the gym, and you always go at a weird time, and you're like, is this guy just sporting to the gym, and that's his only place?
They're always there, Yeah,
it was too convenient. I'm like, this guy's just a fuckwit. Anyway, so hopefully he's watching. He's only around the corner, I'm sure. But, thought that was a funny gym form story. And I thought, what a fucking hero.
Yeah, no, I've had plenty of them. I once, quickly, I had a guy that I was on the treadmill, just finishing off a bit of cardio after my workout, and he comes up and we didn't have a lot of treadies, and he wanted to go, him and his mate, because there was one free next to me. He goes, oh, do you mind moving so I can walk next to my mate? I was like, I'll be nice. I was like, oh, yeah, I guess. Like, I'm halfway through mine. I went and moved to, I had to go to the front row. I was in the second row. And then they're fucking not talking to each other. They both got headphones in and watching shit on their phone. They do it for 5 minutes and leave. And I went back and I threw my shit back in it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, you made me move for that. What the fuck?
I think they're sleeping together. That's what it must be, mate.
Oh, yeah, fucking. I would have rather them fucking be kissing on there or something at least. Like, if you're going to take the treadie, do something with it. Fuck.
Oh, mate. People are fucking so ashamed at the gym. I've been going 15 years and you see some weird shit.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Jack says, I've got Shees, Horn Francis, Warner, which was a nice score last week, finally. Track brought him in after the bye and he's been average. I did the same. Miller, who's a spud, and Rankin, who scored a 38. Isn't he injured, Rankin?
He just came back. But yeah, managed minutes and he didn't look good. So I think he'll get better. But yeah, I'm not sure. He went up in price before that calf injury, I remember. So he'll come back down a bit. But yeah, he's probably still a bit sore, a bit managed. Shout out to my son too. He finally had a bad trade. Thank fuck. He's still hovering around the 10K. I'm not even kidding. But he started the week off. He had Heaney get the 120. He had Lockie Neal. I think he had Blakey who scored poor. But he's had Chad Warner nearly all year. And he got the 150 odd. And then I was asking him who he wanted to trade in because he's only got forwards. Like his flex is Jordan Dawson, mind you. He's got Heaney, Baz, he's got everybody. I know, don't even ask. And I was like, all right, mate, you got to trade a forward in, pick one. And he looked and he was choosing between either the Wizard or Jack Ginnivan. He loves them. Yeah, this is what he said. And he ended up going, he goes, nah, give me the Wizard. So he picked the Wizard, and obviously he went off with the hammy. So he got a 57. And meanwhile, he was so close to picking Jack Ginnivan, and Ginnivan was the highest scorer on the ground for the Hawks. He got 112. So if he had to pick Ginnivan, he would have got another pod pick that went nuts. But unfortunately, the little shit missed out for once.
I think Mini Ghost might have to do a podcast if he's doing that well at some point.
Mate, he's still sitting around the 10K. He did no buy structure. He had like 9 players miss last week, and he only dropped like 500 spots. It's crazy.
That's another way to look at it then. Like, do you think maybe there is a world where you just pick best available and not give a shit about the buyers? Because in saying that, if you can have 9 players out and only drop 500-point ranking because your side is so good overall, what does it matter about buy planning sometimes? Seriously.
Well, just off the top of my head, he had Bond, Ed Richards, Naz, Baz and Holmes. Like, it was missing like so many premiums, especially and up forwards as well. So yeah, Pickett. So it was missing a fair few, and yeah, just still scored all right. So yeah, like I said, he just keeps picking the players, and it's just worked out. But he started with Baz start of the year. He got Heaney like round 2 before, so he got all those 190s that Heaney got. Yeah, got Jordan Dawson in at flex, all this stuff. So yeah, he's done really well, the little turd. So I'll see where he finishes off for the rest of the year. He's still got 6 trades too.
What the hell?
Yeah.
He's obviously been watching your content then, not mine.
No, he doesn't fucking listen to me. He's just I was like, who do you want? And he's like, I wouldn't have picked the Wizard, but yeah, he's done well. So got to give him credit.
My dad would pick Ryan Mansell, mate. My dad actually did pick Ryan Mansell last year. My dad's got no idea.
Good player, Mansell.
Mansell, yeah. My dad will pick whoever's his favourite player that week. He will chase the biggest 170 from, I don't know, from, I don't even know. Give me just a mediocre player that would fucking do it. Gallup. If Gallup scored a 120, my dad would bring him in next week. That's how my dad plays.
Your mate Tom Sparrow, when he was going off?
Oh, mate, he had that patch of 5 weeks where I thought, oh, my God, I've actually jinxed this bloke.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Durham is one I wish I went to. Yeah, Durham's still gettable too, I think.
Yeah, he's cheap.
Jack says, I love your rants. I had a similar story happen one time. First, this Ford cut me off while I was reversing into the park, and then he takes my machine I was on. He threw my towel and phone away.
Oh, no.
I think I'd be scrapping just about. I'd lose my membership for just caving.
No, 100%. You touch my phone and shit, you'd be in trouble.
That's next level, isn't it?
I'm mad about that. So I don't touch other people's property at all. Like I'm big on that.
Wow, yeah. I'd be wanting him to meet in the car park. I haven't seen Harry in ages. Hi boys, is NAS more important than my F6 at the moment? Okay, currently got my pod at F6. I don't know who his F6 is. I could trade
like the Collingwood player, the rookie.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
right. Good one. Thanks. Currently got Pod at F6. I could go Sinclair to Murphy Reed or Horn Francis in one trade to Sinclair to get Nas and Hyson into Herbert in two trades. Can you answer that one? My brain cannot comprehend that.
So he's basically just saying, is it more important to get Nas or replace Pod at F6? So he can get go Sinclair to Reed or JHF in one trade, or to get Nas, he has to move Ison to Herbert as well. So he's using two trades to get Nas. But you get Herbert as well, who's pretty good cover.
I'd probably fix my F6. If I had that Collingwood rookie that's not getting a game, I'd fix that before anything else.
Yeah, look, I think it depends on who your defender's going to be. So if you're going to replace, because obviously you're getting rid of Sinclair, so that means someone's got to be the D6. If your D6 is Hall Kahan, then first of all, I'd definitely be going JHF over Reed. I think JHF is in crazy form at the moment. So as much as I hate the prick, he's killing it. But yeah, if I'm choosing between Nas and JHF, I'd rather Nas. But it depends on who your D6 is, because I think if you got Hall Kahan there, it's probably just as similar as having Pod at F6 in a similar way. Like, it's probably going to be your lowest scorer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Yeah. So look, I think you can. I'm happy either way, but I'd be going JHF over Reed.
I would definitely be going Horn Francis over Reed as well. Who do you prefer out of Bolton and Reed?
Oof. Oh, what are the price difference? I think Bolton would probably be a bit cheaper.
It's 25 grand cheaper, I think, roughly. But I could essentially go Dirksen to Herbert and Murdoch to Murphy Reed, and that would not worry about Jezza.
And you can't afford to get up to JHF?
Nah, 480 would be my mark off, which is Murphy Reed territory.
Yeah, look, I think if it's like one of your final upgrades, it doesn't matter spending up that 20 whatever K, but
yeah,
I'd have a look at the numbers in terms of CBAs and stuff like that, because Reed's solid, but if they're giving Bolton a lot of CBAs, we know what he can do with his ceilings. So, that's a tough one, man. It honestly is. And I think it depends too, if you want to like a super pod, like having a Murphy Reed, I think would, give you a chance to climb some rankings. So I think it's dependent on, your situation. And, I don't think there would be too much difference, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either. I'd slightly lean towards Reed over Bolton anyway. That's my thought of it. This next question, I'm just trying to load up the two players, but from here on out, who do you think actually averages more out of Holmesy and Nas? I reckon actually Nas here because of Sinclair. Do you have a different take on that?
Nah, look, I think Holmes, I haven't had a look at the run, but I'm pretty sure they've got a decent run, the Cats. Yeah. You would have maybe had a look with Jezza. So, but yeah, like I said with Nas tags, I wouldn't worry about him as much because he can get thrown around. They've sat him at full forward before. They've had him on the wing. They've had him in the mid, and then they've obviously had him taking kickouts and playing half back. So I think Holmes is a lot safer in terms of not getting tagged. I think if someone's going to tag a Geelong player, it's probably Baz. But yeah, so I think Nas has the potential of some real big spike games too, like Essendon, Port. He's got Richmond in there, Gold Coast. Like I think Nas can go bananas.
Because on the screen right now is their matchup. So you got Nas on which side was Nas? Nas on the right and Holmes on the left. Yeah. So Nas has got a better lineup, obviously. Like he's got Sydney, that's the only one that's really challenging, whereas Holmes, he's still got the Melbourne game in there. He's got the Brisbane game in there. Who else has he got that's tough, really?
I think so. Like I said, I don't think Holmes will have any tags. It's just Brisbane might be a tougher matchup, or like you said, even it'd be interesting to see when they play Collingwood, because Collingwood now tag with Ed Allen, so he might go to a Baz or a Holmes. But the ones that everyone's worried about for Naz is Geelong, North, and Sydney. Is Mullen, O'Sullivan, and Jordan. I don't think I would. The only one I'd worry about as a tagger is Mullen, and I don't see if Naz is playing half back, I don't see them putting Mullen at a half forward to tag him.
I don't think so either. My thing with Naz is too, look at all the Marvel games he plays to finish off the season. He plays all 6 out of 8 at Marvel. He plays 1 at the G and 1 at HBA. Like, he does not leave Victoria whatsoever. So he's going to be fine.
Yeah. I don't think there's a big difference in the picks is what I'm saying too. I think Naz will have a higher ceiling.
Agreed.
He potentially might have a little bit of a lower floor with if he does get attention. But I think it's the same as Holmes. Like, Holmes is good in the midfield, but then when he got put in the half back line and taking kick-outs, he still scored. So I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah, I'd 100% go Naz. I'm not even sitting on the fence for that. Okay, I got 4 trades with 197k in the bank. Should I go Artemis in for Nick Cox and move Artemis into my backs and move Khan to the mid and trade out Rochelle, or keep Rochelle, trading Nick Cox to get what the hell? I don't think Nick Cox has made enough money to do this. What are your thoughts? I feel like there's a bit of a nothing trades though for what it is.
Yeah, I think
Jake.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like Artemis, I had a look. He's a test with a hamstring, so he might be a bit sore. So there's no guarantee he's going to debut. Like, he's 99k, so it doesn't really matter. But it depends on how much money. I can't remember how much Nick Cox is, but he won't get back in the team, I don't think.
No.
But yeah, like, look, with your 4 trades and you got that in the bank, like, Rochelle isn't a great pick. So it depends on who you can get him to. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So it depends on if you're going to do that trade, Cox to Artemis, and it can get your Rochelle to someone decent. Like, I don't mind that. But I also think you could probably just hold your trades and see what happens. At least if something happens, you got options. So, yeah, it's hard without seeing the rest of your team. But, yeah, like, look, if you're asking if Rochelle is a good pick to hold, I'd love to get rid of him because he's not been great and the role isn't great.
No, Rochelle is averaging 77. If you have 200k on him, you can get a 550k player anyway. So I'd 100% piss off Rochelle.
Yeah, and just do it in one trade.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't worry about Artemis for now. I'd wait and see, because if he has pinged a hammy, he won't. If he's not in for a couple of weeks, then he's just a useless player, like Cox is as well. So you get the money, but you burnt a trade that you probably could hold on to for a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if I'm Rochelle and I'm not worried about a rookie now, I'm worried about getting him to Horn Francis, Jack Ross, Pickett, all these guys up there, Warner, any of those guys. You're going to gain 30 points, aren't you?
Yeah. Even like I said, I love Chad Warner as well. I know a lot of people were shitting on him last year, but he's given some. If you look at his scores, he was he wasn't turning up, but he was getting minimum 80s every week. So I always love Chad Warner, and I think with Heaney in the team, he never gets attention, and Goulden as well.
Yeah. Who, if you had to deck somebody for 2 weeks, would it be Papley or Chad Warner, just with the way they run after a goal?
Oh, the way I think Papley after a goal hits his top speed and nearly runs through the fucking crowd. So I love watching that. And that's another thing too, watching my son play footy. Like, when he does that when his teammate kicks a goal. So he loves it too. So he gets up and about. But no, I love Chad Warner. And shout out to probably Essendon's future coach, Jimmy Hurd, because he actually called it before the game. I was listening to him and he said Brisbane will beat Sydney. Heaney will get a lot of attention. And he said Chad Warner will kick 4 goals. And he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Jack, my team's full of spuds. He's finally got a better team though. My dad's team, sorry, full of spuds. He's finally got a better team though. He's in our gun super coaches. Oh yes, yep. Have a look at under Peter. All right, I'll do that shortly. Wade Dirksen for Brayshaw to have full primo. That's an obvious yes.
Yep. Brayshaw's been in better form too. Yep.
Yep. Jack, yeah, I think he was on the roids. What happened to the boys at Supercoach Masters? Well, I think since George went up in the state, and old mate's still in the other state, they wanted to do the potties together, but not the online sort of thing, like you and I are doing from a different state. Yeah. And then obviously Masters George hasn't been feeling the best. So I'm not sure when he'll return, but I was featuring on his channel quite a lot actually, and hopefully he returns. And it's like sort of like a TBA if it was an injury list, because I'm not even sure myself. But yeah, hopefully they come back, because they were hilarious, even to try to even get the same or similar antics. I just can't replicate that, because they were just one of a kind. They're so fucking funny.
Yeah, no, they were one of my favorites too, listening to them banter, and then obviously you and George. But shout out to George. Hope he is doing well. And he's a funny guy. He makes me laugh a lot too. But massive shout out to how good he is, because he finished so good last year. We've talked about how well my rank was last year. He beat me as well, so he did really well, and he's killing it this year, even when a lot of content creators have struggled a bit. So he knows what he's talking about too. He's not just the bloke that says cunt all the time. He's one that knows what he's doing. So if he's watching, get around him. He's a great bloke.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself. I'll have a look and see if I can pin his team up here somewhere.
That'd be good.
I'll see if I don't know if he's in my rivals or not. I'm in so many leagues, I kind of don't know where I am anymore. I think I signed up to too many leagues this year. I've gone nuts. So look how many I'm in.
What's your projected this week? Is that they're 2,430?
Yeah. What's yours, out of curiosity?
Like 2,490 this week. I was a bit surprised, because I haven't scored anywhere fucking near that all year.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Where is old mate? George would be in here, maybe.
There he is. SC Masters Geordie.
Yeah, there he is. So overall rank 4,243. He scored a 2-3 this week. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
His backline's pretty good as well. Look at that. Look at his rucks. He's got Jackson and Grundy, R1, R2.
Yeah, I've got Gawn and Grundy. The biggest Gawn last year was my biggest antipod, and this year it's Luke Jackson. He's R1 for me next year, hands fucking down.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got a lot of depth as well. Like, he's got Pickett on the bench. Obviously, he'll probably run Pickett this week, but
yeah,
McKercher can go down back if he needs as well, which he probably will do this week. Put McKercher down at Hall's position. But pretty good. So I'm not sure how many trades he's got left, but he's got a few pods in there. Bolton, Reed as well. Horn Francis is a bit of a maybe not pod now, actually, is he?
Yeah, no, but you can just tell he's grabbed the value when it was there. Like, Matty Rowell and stuff like that, and McKercher's been cheap, Durham, Darcy Cameron. So he's a very smart coach, and he's obviously his ranking's been up there all year. So 4,000's pretty fucking solid, given the year we've had with all the injuries and whatnot.
100%. There's a few teams in there. I'll go into the players of the traded in. I guess a lot of them are pretty obvious. Like, there's none really to touch on. I don't speak specifically that we probably already haven't. Yeah. Herbert, what do you think Herbert can average? Because I went back the other week and I said I reckon he's an average of 80. Do you think it's higher or lower than 80? What would you take from here on out from Herbert?
Yeah, I'd say 75. I'd say 75 plus. I watched that game, and fuck, he's not like he's a big boy though, and
Yeah.
I think his role down back is solid. He was taking kick-ins. He goes in. I think he'll stay in that team. Yeah, I really like him. I think, yeah, like 75, like you said, 80 is definitely there. But yeah, 75 at the floor, I reckon, is pretty good. And if you're choosing between like him and Fitzgerald or him and Hall Kahan as your cover, I'd pick Herbert. I think he's solid.
Yeah, I like Herbert as cover for sure. I think he's even a good flex player.
Yeah.
All those players on the list speak for themselves. But I
Yeah.
guess the only one that's skeptical is Marshall, just because he did have that hot shoulder concern. But anything you'd like to point out in that list?
No, not really. Like I said, I love Chad Warner as a pick, and I think he got slept on a lot. With Marshall, like I said, he's a forward, so you can roll the dice on him. We know what he can do when he rucks on his own. He's got that sore shoulder, but I think he'll be okay, and he'll push through. So yeah, I don't hate those, but yeah, like you said, a lot of them speak for themselves. There's a lot of people jumping on Naz, obviously, Baz from the Cats. Now that he's off his bye, JHF, like people jumping on Sammy Durham after last week. I do want to say, don't expect a 128 from Durham every week because, yeah, he played a lot of midfield stuff, but like just watching that game, in that he should be the captain. He gives everything he's got. He was a mid-season draft as well back in the day, so he takes his opportunity and he gives a fuck. That's the thing, and that's what the captain should do, and that's what a captain should play like. And yeah, I love the way he goes about it. So yeah, shout out to Sammy Durham.
Yeah, I mean the last 3 weeks too, he's got 75% CBA, 78%, and 74%, and he hasn't had that for a little while because there was games between round 4 and round 7 where he had 33%, 0%, 11%, and 59%. The only other times he's had above 76% was round 3, round 8, round 9, and round 10. So 4 times in the year. And in the last 3, he's had 76% basically each week. So it's amazing what happens when you actually played in the right freaking position, really.
Yeah, and because we had Will Setterfield in the team, he's been doing the negating tagging sort of role. So that's freed Durham up, and Durham hit the scoreboard twice. But one thing I was really looking at was who got moved out of the midfield. So we moved Sharp, still got in there a little bit, but he was mainly moved out. Roby went to a half forward, and Jai Caldwell was playing more forward. He didn't get a lot of mid time. So I think they're pretty happy with the mix they've got with and even when we were getting spanked, we didn't put Merritt back in there. So I think it was mainly Parrish, Durham, Setterfield, and then Sharp pinch hit a little bit as well. So yeah, I think we're pretty, as an Essendon fan, it looks like we're pretty sold on that mix.
Yeah, that mix exactly was, like you said, 74% to Durham last week, 65% to Parrish. Setterfield was at 52%. Dyson Sharp was 52%. And then you go down, Caldwell was 30%. Roby was 22%. So, yeah, it really is those guys in there. But it's nice to see that Durham was the number 1 man last week for CBAs. Dale Wilkie, excuse me. Who are you thinking out of these two? Finish off your last promo. Would you just go Dale at this point?
No, yeah, like I know Dale's been good this year, but just I had him last year, and just his ability to drop a fucking stinker is there. So this year, yeah, Dale's been fine, but I've got Wilkie, and I'm pretty bullish on what he can do, especially with Sinclair out. And so if Naz does play midfield, I think it's Wilkie season. I think he'll take so much more kick-ins and get the ball a bit. So I like Wilkie for 70K cheaper. And then that way, if there is an injury down the track, you got a bit more money in the bank.
You know what? I think I'd almost rather Brody Ewan at this point anyway. If I'm to 530K on a player, I wouldn't mind taking a punt on the pod now at this point of the season.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a pod pick either. Like, I know Noble played like crap on the weekend, but I think he's still a solid pick as well. But yeah, Hewland, very lowly owned, as you can see. So and he's been consistent as hell. Like nothing flashy, but just consistent. So and with the way Gold Coast are playing there, I think the ball will be down there a little bit. So you might as well give it a crack with him. And yeah, I don't mind that. I'd rather take a roll of the dice on Newland than Bailey Dale.
So do I. I mean, he's got a 3-round average of 116. That's up there with Holmes. Daniel's a bit of a wild pick for me just because there's so inconsistent with him. But yeah, Ewan's one I might even look at next year for me if I had 530.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's any more questions, and we'll go on to VCs and Cs and call it a night. I don't mind Marshall at the price for a cheap pod. Yep. If I didn't have Durham, I'd go him first. Marshall would be a good pod pick, maybe even for Supercoach finals. I think he will be, but I think TDK returns in 4 weeks. I'm not too sure how good he'll be peaking for finals in that sense. But nonetheless, anything you want to add to the Marshall chat with that? No?
No, I'm happy with rolling the dice on an F6 pick because even other than we see now Petrarca starting to drop, other than Sheasel, and you probably throw JHF in the mix now, all these forwards can drop a 50, a 60, a 70. So you might as well take a stab at your F6 or that's why I said like your Jeremy Cameron pick is fine because he can spike and every forward pretty much has the ability to be a spud.
Yep. No, literally. I agree, mate. VC and Cs for this week. Did you see any VCs for the Geelong and Brisbane game apart from Baz?
Oh, you could go with Holmes. I think Holmes is still a fine pick. With Mullen and O'Connor and those blokes in the team, I wouldn't really risk it on a Brisbane player. Zach Bailey's been in great form too. So, glad that he's been back to it after dropping a few stinker scores. He's been really solid the last month. But I'd be looking at Baz or Holmes as a VC. I wouldn't look at any Brisbane players.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'd look at any Brisbane players whatsoever either in that game. Sydney and Dogs, do you think James Jordan gives Ed Richards a tag?
He went to Bont last time, and this was when Bont had his sore knee, and then Bont went nuts and got the 140-odd and kicked a couple goals and whatnot. So I don't know if they'll try that again. It's at the SCG, so maybe, I think Jordan didn't tag at all last week. He played wing, so it will be interesting. I think they will tag. But yeah, so it is possible. Bont, I think, is still a viable VC because he's already torched Jordan once.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Sydney, like I've got Grundy. So if Laddams isn't named, Grundy's got a really good record against the Dogs and English. I think he got a 150 odd last time, but that was without English playing. So hopefully Grundy can do something for me because I've had him for a month and he's dropped me 390s. He's had a rest and only a 120. So been really fucking disappointing. And like I said, I could have got a Luke Jackson instead. So hopefully he turns that around. But then also for Sydney, you got Heaney that could go nuts. Even a Nick Blakey, I think, could go pretty well as well.
Yeah, I think Blake is a good shout for sure in this game. For me, for West Coast and Adelaide, probably only really Dawson. Does anyone else stand out apart from Dawson you think that could spike?
Nah, I think Dawson. If you're holding on to McAndrew, I wouldn't put a VC on him. But if you've got McAndrew, he'll probably have a big game in the ruck.
Yeah, I feel like a 110 at least minimal for him here. Melbourne and Hawthorn. I don't like Max Gorn, but I like Will Day and Newcomb in this one. What about you?
Yeah, not bad. You stay away from the Cozzy. He didn't do well against them last time, but yeah, the Hawks midfield's picked up with Day in it. I don't trust Nuke enough yet to chuck anything on him, but hopefully for our sake that our random Hawks mids will give us another good score, mate.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so because I'm getting nervous looking at him in my side every time I open the app. Giants and Fremantle. I don't really interest in any player from this game, bar Jackson against Briggs on a 143.
Yeah, Jackson's the clear number one. To be honest, I'd even if you've got like you got a Naz or a Sheasel or a Butters, I'd be throwing the VC in that game on Jackson. I reckon he'll absolutely smash the fuck out of him. He's on another planet this year, Luke Jackson, and it's really frustrating because if you go back all preseason, he was in my preseason team the whole year, and then I swapped it up with English just before the season started. So I'm gutted I did that, but yeah, you just can't trust any Giants player because Kingsley started throwing the magnets around. Oliver went to forward line. Callahan went back. Ash went to the midfield. So Whitfield maybe is a thing, but the halfbacks for the Gold Coast did really bad against Freo. So yeah, I'd just be looking at Jackson in that game if I've got one of them.
Yeah, no, 100% out of those ones. Similar to this next game is Collingwood and Gold Coast. Gold Coast in such bad form that I just think Dacos is the only one that I'd really go for. I'd probably be more likely to BC Dacos if he was at the MCG though than anything.
Yeah, true. I think he's still a good VC shout. Like I said, if you've got those, you've still got Sheasel, Butters, and Naz and those kind of guys to come. But yeah, I wouldn't trust any Gold Coast player at the moment. Allen will tag. I wonder who he'll go to. Will he? I don't think he'll go to a Rowell or anyone like that. I think it's either Anderson or Petrarca. But if Petrarca spends more time up forward, I actually think Anderson will finally get a tag and hopefully go back to his shit forms. I had him when he was shit, and then he's turned it around. So it'd be very interesting to see how that game goes. But another thing to keep an eye out too, if you remember last year, Josh Dacos went that 199 or whatever he got against Gold Coast and had a 100-point last quarter. So I'm a Josh Dacos owner now, so hopefully he can replicate that for me.
I hope he can for me too, because he's given me nothing but disappointment since starting him. So I'm pretty pissed off about that pick, to be honest.
Yeah.
Richmond and Carlton. Oh, I didn't even realize that playing Carlton. So shit. I mean, VC options would have to be Cripper, Walsh, or that's pretty much it, really, out of that game, right? They're going to go nuts, though.
I wouldn't touch anyone. If you got Walsh, you can risk it, but I think there's much better options.
Yeah, no, fair. How about St Kilda and Essendon and Naz? Anybody else?
Nah, not that I can think of. I think Naz is the clear favourite. I wouldn't obviously know Essendon players. If Archie Roberts was playing, he could have had a pig game. But yeah, I think it's just pretty straightforward with that one. Just Naz.
Yeah, that's valid. And I think a lot of captaincy options will be in this last game. Like you could go Butters, you could go Sheasel, LDU even. You think Sheasel's probably the obvious one in this one, followed by second for Butters?
Yeah, Butters copped that tag from O'Sullivan in round one, and he's still got a 96. I think, but that was a really unexpected tag. Like no one knew North was going to tag. So I think now with the way Butters has played this year, he broke Mullen. Mullen killed him twice last year, and he turned up against him. So I think Butters will have a point to prove, and I think he'll be solid, especially at Adelaide Oval. But yeah, I'd be going Sheasel over LDU. Just as good as LDU was last week, Sheasel still put 30 points on him. So I think Shees is in really good form and racking them up.
Yeah, that's the main thing. He's just in really good form, and he's just next level to LDU and all these other players around him. So
yeah,
I agree. And then to finish off the comments and then call it a night, I'm buggered. Jamie says, "Oh my God, Dawson is an Naz." We think that's pretty safe pick anyway.
Yeah,
really, the stealings for those guys. Yeah. Mate, where can the people find you? Thank you for your time. Where can they find you, mate?
Just Ghost_Bakes on X, Ghost Bakes Supercoach on YouTube. Just like I said, I know this time of year people are tuning out and all that kind of stuff. We're still going to pump out the content just because, we commit to doing it for the year. So we'll do that. So I'll only be doing the one video a week now because I've got no fucking trades left. So it'll just be reviews. But me and Braddles will continue doing this every Wednesday for as long as we can. So give us a like and a like for the stream and everything like that. And just trying to get to that 100 sub mark. So give us a sub, even if you're not really watching anymore. It'll be like a bit of a thank you for everything. And love still interacting with all you guys. So don't disappear completely. We still got a fair few weeks left and a lot of shit to talk. So
yeah, we've still got 2 months exactly, mate. So it's actually still 8 weeks of footy. We're two-thirds of the way there, but still 8 weeks takes a long time in football, Supercoach. So still be doing this to the end of it. But thanks for your time, mate. And I'll catch you next Wednesday. I don't think I'll do preview and reviews anymore. Just do it on the Sunday night and then a Wednesday. That's it for me at the moment. Got other stuff going. But again, thanks for jumping on, mate. And I'll make sure to tag you in this as I always do. But thanks, mate.
No, all good, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, mate. Cheers, everyone. Thanks.